Okay, got a laptop here. Apparently, the lady had dropped it. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap here. It kind of goes along the front of it. I'm trying the camera in manual focus mode, by the way, because I was tired of so many autofocus issues. So if it gets a little blurry, it's just because I'm a little too close. But you got it right along here as well. And it tapers back here, so chances are she probably dropped it right on this corner, just popped it up. This is a Toshiba satellite, and unfortunately they have a very weird design in that the actual bezel here sometimes sits inside of this front bezel. It's got like a little lip in it, kind of like that. This piece has like a little lip kind of like this, and this piece fits inside of it. You know, kind of like just clicks right on in. So what I have to do is basically pull out this whole top piece, try and reseat it. And as you can kind of see here, her buttons are a little bit off kilter. This one feels jammed. This one seems pretty free clicking. So hopefully once we get that reseated, it'll do its thing. But usually this portion here is actually part of this top bezel, but this one could be a little bit different, so we'll see. Before doing any work on any of the laptops, you always want to go through and take your battery out first. You know, flip it over. You got a couple little slots here, one to unlock it usually, and the other one is actually to release it. You usually just slide that over and lift it up, and your battery will come out just like so. Next thing you want to do is go through, take out any of the panel covers, such as these here. Hard drive, secondary hard drive, and under here will be memory. Going to pull those out, and then it's going to be taking out all the screws. Now, some people, when you go through and take out the CD drive, they'll tell you to go through, push in the eject hole here. Tray will slide out and you can use that to pull it out. I don't like to do that because it usually puts a lot more force on that slider than it's intended. Because the first thing I'll try is, once I take out the main screw that holds it in, is you can't really see it here too well, combination of lighting, whatever, but you should be able to see a little tiny metal slider right there moving. Usually you can get a little screwdriver and just kind of push against a little flat head. You don't take much effort. Just a little push in there, and it'll usually be all it takes to get a little bit out here, disengage the socket, and then you can just slide this thing out, no problem. No forcing, no bending of connectors. And there's the little metal connector that actually sits in there, in that hole. So you just push that a little bit and it comes out, and this socket's freed. Got another little quick tip for you. If you got a screw down a hole like this, and you undo it, and you go through with your screwdriver and you try and pull it up, you just can't do it. Your choices are either flip the laptop over, shake it out, take a magnetic screwdriver, put in there, pull it out. But what if you don't have a magnetic screwdriver? What you can do is go online, buy yourself some of these little tiny neodymium or rare earth magnets, slap onto your screwdriver. It's a good old metal one, and you can just put it right on in there, and out comes your screw. That way, if you're like me, you don't like having magnetized tools around, especially with some of the equipment I deal with, you can just take that magnet off, and relatively the magnetic field goes away from it, but a small residual one will be left behind, which will fade over time. So, okay, so you end up taking the screen off. You have two screws in each corner here. Screen comes off, and you can just basically start prying around the edges here. You kind of see how this tapers into here. See a little crack. Take your non-pry tool, go along this edge first is my recommendation. Get up here, go around the corner. Then you can actually start going down the side of the laptop, across the front, and this will usually come up with it. Sometimes it doesn't. It comes out as a separate piece. as it might in this case because I haven't taken it off all the way yet. And follow it all the way down the other side, all that. Alright, I've gotten the plastic out finally for the top piece. As you can kind of see here, this one is actually, best way I can word it, spot welded to the top part. Spot plastic welded. And as you can see, some of these welds are just completely busted, so that's never going to really seat back on there correctly ever again unless I get the whole top piece. But what I've got to do at this point is, since I've taken it off, you can still see the button is still pressed, so it wasn't something inside pushing it up, so to say, inside the system. I'm actually going to have to go through, remove the screws for this pressure plate. Hopefully it's not going to de-seat the actual trackpad, because then this thing will not work again. But going to go through, disconnect these cables, this one here from it, and then undo this pressure plate. And now the root cause of our problem is found. Like I said before, she brought it in because the buttons were basically sticking, and the issue is, remember that top piece that was kind of busted and flailing about? This here? Well, if we follow it across, see this here? This is actually your button for the top part. That actually goes through and presses the buttons that are on the circuit board. So you go through, you press this little triangle-like piece, hits those buttons, and it actually makes a mouse click. Well, the top part, when it busted, you got this here, and that's actually connected into this. It's basically acting like a spring, so to say, to keep it forced up. And since it fell, this is actually busted off. I can't really tell if you can see, but it's no longer attached there, and this piece here looks like it's pretty much just hanging on by a thread. So this one is basically just staying there, and that one, again, like I said, this is on manual focus for close-up stuff. See, that's the one that's got the huge sink into it. That's why it's got that huge sink in it. It doesn't have anything to help support it there anymore. The other one here won't go down at all. I've kind of fixed that a little bit. And that this top piece here, it actually has like another bevel in it here, so I kind of clicked it back in. Didn't seem to have much of an effect, but it is now warped because of how long it's been like that. It's just a design issue with it. Once this thing gets warped, it's really no going back unless you try heat treatment, and then you risk damaging the plastic more. So the only real way I can fix this for this lady would be to go through and order a new top piece. This whole top assembly, that was blurred because of the autofocus again, turned off. And that's the only way I can really fix that for her. I'm going to try and snap these back in a little bit and maybe use some Gorilla Glue, but hate to tell her that's busted. And the only thing she can do is order that part, or I can order it for her one way or the other. But the top plastics here you're talking about, probably like $100 from Toshiba, and that's really the only place you're going to find it, unless you get it on eBay, and sometimes those have just as many issues. So, but that's it. Put it back together. We'll see how it works. Look at that. A little bit of creative use with the file, and I managed to get these guys to pretty much snap back into place. And now all I gotta do is reassemble the trackpad back in here, and we'll give it a shot. Well, there we have it, folks. It's a bit better than it was initially. The button actually can travel, unlike before it was just solid, wouldn't move. This one actually clicks a little bit better. And I I'm going to recommend to the customer that she not use the trackpad at all anymore, because the way this plastic is designed, it's going to fail again if she actually does use it. It's just a matter of time before it actually just wears out and just snaps off completely, because most of the snaps in here are undone. So that's it for this video, and if you like it, please comment, rate, subscribe, and if you got any crazy laptop repair stories, I'm always happy to hear them, because there's never enough craziness with these things. Till next time, I'll see you later. Hey Ma, look. No extra screws.